We are about to get underway.
The machine of a dream.
Shake and bake! Shake and bake!
With the pistons are pumping.
We're not looking in the review through the rearview mirror. We're looking through the front windscreen going into 2022.
Holding your
One way or another, cars seem to be making their way once again into the centre of the Australian political contest.
I'm in love with my car.
We're double vaxxed and people are back. They're in their trailers looking out the front windscreen.
On the weekend, Scott Morrison continued his photo opportunity-rich unofficial election campaign by doing a lap of Australia's most iconic racetrack.
We're doing 230 kilometres an hour with the Prime Minister.
Cruising in overdrive.
And a Labor promise to cut the tax on electric vehicles is one of a suite of retail promises in its long-awaited climate policy, culminating in the announcement on Friday of a 43% emissions reduction target for 2030.
We want Australians to have more choice. We want to reduce the cost of EVs by cutting the taxes.
There's obviously a lot more highbrow detail to the climate policy than cars, but cars are now a splendid metaphor for how the broader political year is ending. Labor is promising voters it will bring more and cheaper electric vehicles to the Australian market, including by helping to rapidly create a second-hand market from a government electric fleet. The Coalition, meanwhile, is inelegantly hoisted on its own electric vehicle petard from the last election.
It's not going to tow your trailer. It's not going to tow your boat.
And we are going to save their utes.
When the government announced its climate policy ahead of the Glasgow Climate Summit last month,
It's very smooth.
all it could really offer was electric vehicle charging stations. The shifting ground on electric vehicles is also symbolic of the broader changes in the debate about climate change, in which the positions of the other players in the debate have now significantly moved. Back in 2018, the Business Council tweeted that a target of 26% is appropriate and achievable. 45% is an economy-wrecking target. On Friday, the Business Council was just one of several business groups which welcomed Labor's 43% goal instead of the 45% target which so offended it at the last election. Not so much 6 degrees of separation, but 2. So the opposition does not have the broader establishment against it this time around. If anything, it has its support. The environment movement is not quite so happy, but Labor is unashamedly unapologetic, arguing that with just 9 years to go until 2030, it is going for what is achievable rather than what might be ideal, and somewhat less than last time.
We will take this emergency seriously, and we will not just leave it to other countries or to the next generation. We are up for real action on climate change now, if we get elected on Saturday.
There may still be an emergency. It might even be getting worse. But Labor says it has 2 policy targets. One will be a legislated 43% target for 2030, and the other is putting the climate change debate back onto a rational footing that does not divide Australians. And that's pretty much the broader political strategy for Labor as 2021 ends, to sound sensible and unthreatening, to promise, as Bob Hawke did in 1983, to bring people together, and appeal to voters, as Kevin Rudd did in 2007, with tangible policies. This time that will mean pledges like solar power banks for low-income communities, in contrast to the Coalition's energy policies built on unproven technologies.
Great seeing a lot of green out there.
While the PM was being a rev-head at Bathurst yesterday, the opposition leader, conspicuously repackaged, appeared at a very traditional election campaign rally in a sharp new suit and brainy glasses.
I am determined to restore to our politics a sense of responsibility, decency and integrity. I may not always be the smoothest talker, but I can promise you this, I will always tell it straight.
Labor ends the year, according to today's news poll, leading the two-party vote 53% to 47%, and, significantly, Anthony Albanese leading the PM on net satisfaction ratings for the first time since March last year. The 2022 election campaign will be notable for its big field of independent candidates, almost all women, contesting Liberal-held seats. All these independents running on climate change and anti-corruption tickets will spread the coalition party's election resources and constrain its capacity to run a scare campaign on climate against Labor, which makes the Prime Minister's very public and very aggressive endorsement today of former New South Wales Premier Gladys Berejiklian as a possible challenger to independent MP Zali Steggall in the seat of Warringah all the more fascinating.
I think she'd be great. She's a person I've always found to be of great integrity. And if she wants to have a crack at Warringah for the Liberal Party, I suspect the people in Warringah would welcome that. And we'll let the people decide.
If they expect a leave pass for a Premier who's been under investigation by the ICAC, they won't be getting one.
Here we go. Hey, good one.
It might be December, but it's time to start your engines.
Hi, I'm Lee Sales. Thanks for watching this story. If you'd like to watch more of 730's stories, they are on the left of your screen. And tap on the button below to subscribe and get the latest from ABC News.